The Razer Barracuda X has been getting some praise online since these are a good pair of headphones and I can sort of see what Razer was going with here. They wanted to make an affordable pair of headphones that work with more devices, and I really appreciate that. However, today I want to go ahead and talk about the good and the very bad regarding this headset because it's not for everyone, and it's certainly not for me, but it can very well be for you. That's when things get a little bit more complicated here with these. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Before we continue, don't forget that I have a Twitch channel that you can go ahead and follow me on for live microphone reviews and much more than that. But you're also going to find my Instagram and a link to the Tech Summit Discord in the description. So come join the community because it is a pretty cool one. We've also opened up a Patreon as of late where if you join, you'll be automatically entered to win one tech gadget every month in our exclusive giveaways. Details to that are going to be down below. Don't forget to check out the description for everything. Now let's get right into the video. So let's begin with an unboxing. These come inside of this very nice Razer style packaging, and inside you're going to find the headset with the USB-C cable for charging, the 3.5mm cable with an angle connector for wired use, and the USB-C Bluetooth adapter for wireless use. You're also going to be finding a couple of other adapter extensions to help you out with using these with other types of devices in wired mode. And it's also going to come with that detachable microphone. Let's not forget about that. So this headset is built out of plastic for the majority of the build. It's going to be very lightweight, which is pretty good, and it is a matte texture too, which a lot of us will appreciate. Razer ditched their RGB lighting in favor of a simpler design with no lighting and more battery life. These aren't massive headphones either. They're over-ear headphones without a doubt, but not so small that they have to go on your ears instead. And the design of these headphones work well in playing the role of a gaming headset while also playing the role of a regular pair of headphones. I like that approach quite a lot. However, the execution in other ways was not handled all that well. All of the ports will be found on the left side. That's going to be the power button, a 3.5mm jack for wired use, and the other one is going to be for attaching the microphone to it. There's also going to be a volume wheel and a mic mute switch, but let's not forget about that USB-C port for charging either. So when it comes to comfort, these are really good. They gave us cloth for the ear cuffs instead of leather, which in my opinion is far more effective because they make you sweat less and they last you longer for sure. Also, they're more comfortable in my opinion. I don't really mind that the headband piece itself is comprised of a pretty thin strip of leather either because there is still enough padding up there in order to make using these for hours on end pretty comfortable. I actually really like these from a comfort standpoint and commend Razer for taking this route with these, since in the past very often they have gone with leather and that tends to peel off and then deteriorate all too quickly, so this is pretty good. Now let's go ahead and talk about the connectivity aspect of these headphones. They can connect over a wired 3.5mm connection to anything just fine, or just about anything, I suppose. But you can also use them wirelessly as long as you carry that USB-C dongle around with you. So I understand why there's dongle, because the Switch, for instance, does not support Bluetooth headphones without one, but my problem here is that there isn't the option to put these on pairing mode to use these through just a regular Bluetooth connection. Again, it's not even an option. Now, I will talk about that more a little bit later, I promise, because I have a lot to say there. So finally, let's go ahead and talk about the performance aspect with these. So are these good for gaming? They're no better than the pair of regular wired headphones would be because these are still a stereo pair for the most part, and by default, they do not offer a very wide soundstage either. They do have surround sound according to Razer's website, but I haven't really experienced much of that, even with games that do, as a matter of fact, support that surround sound aspect to them. It doesn't really feel like it's got a very wide soundstage. I don't really feel all that immersed. However, one great thing that these are still going to have is that these headphones do have very good passive noise isolation, not active noise cancellation, just passive noise isolation, which is pretty cool. But going back to that whole surround sound issue, even though I have tried games that support it right out of the bat, I just haven't really gotten much out of it. Surround sound here is really just going to be okay, but just know that it only works on Windows 10, 64-bit, and it will not work on mobile if you're gaming on your phone or on the Switch whatsoever. It is going to be stereo when you're using it there, or if you're using them with the game that doesn't actually support it. And now, you might imagine how this could be a problem when gaming, and I think that they miss an opportunity here. They sound good when gaming, but there also aren't really any kind of EQ options through Synapse or anything of the sort, so you are stuck with the stock EQ unless you use some kind of third-party software or a separate DAC that lets you EQ it on the side, which means buying more hardware just to get that feature. And now that's another weird exception here. I do prefer playing shooting games, fighting games, and other games that don't really depend on a good musical track here, since overall these two sound pretty good. They have a more emphasized low end that does roll off fairly smoothly onto the mids from what I can hear, and then feel a little bit flat at around the high end. So it seems like their focus was mostly on things that just benefit from having a good amount of bass. So if you like playing RPGs and the orchestral themes on these or more dramatic music that tends to come with these, then you will still enjoy it. I still did, but I felt like they were lacking in some presence when it came to those genres. I was not too happy with the sound quality with some genres here, but in others I did like these quite a bit. You see, I wouldn't really be complaining about the sound on these if Razer had a clear idea for what they wanted here. I can't really tell if they wanted a good gaming headset or a good pair of headphones for regular use, because it seems like they wanted to take that direction of taking things both ways, which is exactly where I think the problem lies. And it's also going to translate over to the music listening tests. I feel about the same regarding to music listening. So hip-hop and bass-heavy genres will sound great through these headphones, honestly. But if you like metal, rock, and other genres like that, then you won't be disappointed per se, but just not impressed with the quality. You will be disappointed if you like music with female vocals in them, since the higher frequencies can be drowned out sometimes, and that's not the best experience. But hip-hoppers will like this one, and that's my dad joke, so do not steal it.
Okay. So here's the go. The microphone, the absolute power of the detachment is the hyper-clear cardioid microphone. This is beyond misleading because the listening to is not clear lifted of it. I'm pretty sure how good out of it is, and this is just the kind of quality you can expect that it's not the first headset microphone, it's just that every headset might be $300. Gaming headsets that still have good microphone. And it's not that I'm expecting to mention microphone quality is like, like a dedicated separate microphone quality. I'm just expecting better. Then is just the quality going to improve to the point where it's actually worth it. Because the reality is that microphone. This is not making that any easier via first implementation just for that.
So let's now talk about the battery life. You get about 20 hours of battery life, which is totally fine, honestly. I have seen much worse, so I'm not really going to nag about the battery life here. I think it's totally fine. However, the complaint section is going to be quite a long one, so I do want to ask that you bear with me through this one. I will try to speed through it as much as possible and just keep it concise. I already did a lot of complaining in this video already, and that's kind of why, and I wanted to still be able to elaborate a little bit on what my issue really is with this headset slash headphones. I don't think that it is great at being either one of these while trying so hard to be both of these things at the same time. I appreciate the dongle, I really do, but this should not be the only wireless connection available on this headset, especially if you're supposed to game on your Android device with it. This is also a big reason why you can't use this on your iPhone either, or anything of the sort, which is so unfortunate. So it's going to suck for some of us, I guess. And the worst part here is, what if I forget my dongle when I travel? And you might just make the argument of just leaving the dongle inside of your device, but what if I have to charge my Switch or my Pixel here at some point too? Yeah, there also isn't exactly anywhere on the headset where I can just go ahead and store that dongle and hide it away or anything like that. Now you might argue that I can just leave it on that USB-C port. But then again, what if I have to charge these now? Then that means that I had to take out that dongle. The dongle is just way too easy to lose, and it's far too essential to be something that is this easy to lose. That I really do not like. And I feel like having this kind of dependency on a tiny dongle that can get lost so easily is too much of a compromise to make on a $100 pair of headphones or a gaming headset that does not even offer $100 sound. And not to mention the build itself. It's not terrible, but the plastic does not feel that durable either, so I would be careful handling these nonetheless. And companies, not just Razer, seriously, stop advertising your headset mics as being ultra clear and great sounding, when it still sounds like your voice is being heard through a radio that's transmitting off of another radio on a distant tower over a cheap interface and another cheap microphone. This microphone is just straight up bad, as I covered in the microphone section of this review, and there's no going around that. So here's my conclusion. I'm not happy with the Razer Barracuda X because it's not very good at being a gaming headset and your average pair of headphones at the same time, but it does do either one all that well, even though not so well at $100. Now look, there's definitely still going to be a market for these. For instance, if you're responsible with your dongle and mostly play your Switch portably, for example, and still want to be able to use your headset on your PC with the surround sound features, then all power to you. You might really like these because this fits you. But as a dedicated gaming headset, the Razer Black Shark V2 is much better for less money, and as a dedicated pair of Bluetooth headphones, the Razer Opus X is much better. Sure, this saves you the hassle of needing both. If you just end up going for a pair of headphones or this headset in particular, just using one, but you will thank me later if you end up going the road of spending just a little bit more and getting both. So I do recommend this if you'll protect that dongle with your life, but I don't if you won't, because I believe that there are too many compromises to really give this the score that I wanted to give it, honest to God, because this headset really is mostly a dud for me. And if you're still interested in purchasing this headset, or if you were looking into maybe some of the other recommendations that I did mention in this video instead, then I will be making sure to leave those linked down in the description. And if you end up using my affiliate links for Amazon, I do get a small commission that does help out the channel quite a bit, so I would appreciate that quite a bit. There's also going to be ABUNDA in case you would rather go ahead and finance these without having to apply for a credit card of your own. It's going to be super cool, so links to that down below. It is going to be insanely helpful when shopping around on Amazon. Also, there's going to be Luster. If you need a tool that helps you find discounts and things like that very easily, this is going to be exactly the way to go. So I strongly recommend that you get your hands on that. Links to that down below. Again, using any of these will help out the channel quite a bit, so I would appreciate that quite a bit. And also, I would love to give a very special and big thank you to our patrons, beginning with the tier 3s. So Joe Moss, Sahara, Wazal, and Omar. Thank you so much for all of your support, because it really does go a very long way. Now, as for the rest of the tier 2s, coming right up. And this is super important. I would just like to give a very special thanks to all of our patrons, which are going to be listed right here on the screen. Again, a massive thanks to you all for supporting us to help us create the kind of content that we bring to you on a day-to-day basis. And thank you so much for supporting the Tech Summit podcast as well. And just remember that if you would like to be a part of this community too, and then do make sure to check out the links to our Patreon, where you don't only get bonus episodes of our podcast, but you also get automatically entered into one of our monthly giveaways of a tech product that we have reviewed that is of at least $50 in value or higher. So links to that down below. And don't forget to follow me on the rest of my social media, such as my Instagram and my Twitch, where I do still stream fairly often. But with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy.